Hi, this is David Smith, and this is the CEO Cockpit. CEO Cockpit's intended to be a way of making large-scale data very accessible, very controllable, and I'm just going to give you a quick tour of the current system. What we're looking at is a number of neat things. First of all, is a true 3D windowing system here that I can manipulate objects by pointing and grabbing. The system is designed to work inside of VR and AR systems. So all these things are designed to work on a phone or in a immersive environment. This is actually, I'm focusing it on the Daydream platform to start. So text editing is fully supported. I can select text, obviously, but I can also type. This is an example of typing. So that really works, and that's pretty key for being able to interact with data. But in fact, the right way to be doing this is likely to be with voice input. The windows themselves are pretty easy to manipulate. First of all, I can pick them up. Just click on the green, and you can now carry it. It's in your frame. I can close it up to get it out of my way. That will delete the window. I can resize it, make it tiny, make it bigger, or spin it around, whatever you like, and get rid of it. There you are. A few extra objects, a little globe there, give it a spin. This is a map of India, of course, and it's live. So all these districts are actually 3D buttons that respond to my clicking. So when I click on Gujarat, it will actually, in this case, sends a message to the console, but it can do anything. It's also intended to double as a 3D chart. So once I start playing with the Indian census data from 2001, I'll be able to do some interesting things with this, I think. This next next window here is a map of the US. I'll open it up, and in this case you can see there's really nothing there, except there really is. It's a height map that's hiding underneath this, and I can actually have it dynamically extruded out. And that's a true 3D map. I'm going to, obviously it's not quite that tall when you look at it, but you can get a sense of it, and you can move that around and see that indeed it's extruded. What I'm going to do now is literally change the water level, change sea level. So first of all, I'm creating sea level, but now I can actually move it up higher. And what you'll notice is the coastlines start to disappear, particularly Florida basically goes away. Of course, this is way more water than would ever happen with global warming, but you can get a sense of the areas that would be impacted by it. It's substantial area. One of the more interesting objects in here, this is a spreadsheet. This spreadsheet is over 1,000 rows tall. Some random noise data into it. The parts here are, first of all, the cells themselves. You can see they get highlighted as I put my cursor over it. This is a text input area. This crosses shows you where the rows and columns are, and of course it'd be extended with the actual, say, the first row of data and the first column, so you get better context than just the A1 kind of interface. This is you can select a section of the spreadsheet like so, and this is basically a color sphere. Change the color of those selections. You can even bring up a color wheel if you want. I can select an entire set of columns like that, or for that matter, entire set of, in just that way, so you can see it's the entire row. The other is dynamically plot. So over here we actually can dynamically extrude it. Color represents the value, so blue is positive and red's negative, and I can obviously move that in and out. And that gives you a little bit of a sense of the data, quick and dirty chart capability. Obviously, managing this large of a data set's a bit of a challenge. So one of the things we want to be able to do is maybe select some subpart of it and work with that. So this little icon here allows you to enter window, and it's just like the first. It's exactly the same data that's inside that, and of course this little spreadsheet works in exactly the same way as the larger one does, including our ability to generate yet another window out of that. So you can basically start partitioning your data sets and interacting with parts of them and sharing those parts as needed. This is pretty satisfying to work with these smaller spreadsheets. It's pretty neat. Of course, this can scale up and scale down just like all the other demonstrations earlier. So I'll get rid of that. Another thing you're able to do, which I think is really compelling, I'll select an area here, and I can dynamically chart this. And what it's doing is generating a 3D plot of that selected data. In this case, it's a noise function, again, which has this nice continuous curve to it, but it really gives you a nice, I think, a nice look to the data. And of course, it's very dynamic. You should be able to, you'll be able to basically hook this up to date, for example, and have a little slider on this, and have that slider change the date as you look through it. But this gives you a sense of, first of all, how easy it is to generate visual information and interact with that. One of the key things is being able to populate this world with data. So to that end, built a Excel XLSX file importer. So here's a pretty good size spreadsheet. It's about 1,000 cells long. And what I'm going to do, I already modified this height. I can change it again, I guess. And I'm going to change this. This is my spreadsheet made on January 23rd. And then I'm going to save that. So what I just did was, nothing special about this spreadsheet except it's pretty large, and it, is a good way to track the system. So I'm gonna get that out of the way. But then I want to load it in. So and now I've got to just grab it from the my test data set, which is where I put it. It's this one down here actually. So I'm going to just literally drag and drop it into here, and notice when I do that, it knows that it can be accepted. I release it, and it generates a that data set for me. So what you're looking at here is just that simple window, but in fact, if I open it up, you'll see that same spreadsheet with the same data. In fact, this is my this is the cell that I modified. Obviously, it needs a little bit of work. We've got a lot of cells that need some formatting. but you can see that indeed it's a simple drag and drop to get the data into the system, and then once it's in there, it'll be saved to servers, so that if you're on the road using a phone-based VR system, it's totally accessible. Just to give you a sense how big this guy is, it's obviously close to the top, but this is a really big spreadsheet. But had no problems loading it in. Loaded in just a second or two, and once it's in there, then it's accessible to be able to utilize it any way you want, in the same way that you could the main spreadsheet.